Defense Force tested each of the girls in different ways, all in service of creating the perfect obedient soldier. One such trial consisted of asking them to kill themselves in order to show their resolute dedication. Two of these clones will be important to our story, their names being Soldier 11 and Anby. Eventually, the Silver Company project was shut down, and they decided to discard the clones, keeping only the strongest of them for the Obsidian Division. To make sure they kept only the best, the Defense Force sent the entire squad on a suicide mission, where the only one to seemingly make it out alive was Anby. Soldier 11 had not taken part in this mission, as she was left behind in her sleeping chamber to recover from a previous injury, so Anby took her spot in the mission. When she returned, they requested that Anby finish the job by killing Soldier 11, which would leave Anby as the sole clone. Seeing Soldier 11 as her own sister and closest friend, she refused, slitting her own throat instead, leaving Soldier 11 as the final survivor from Silver Squad. Or so they thought. Once the Defense Force dumped Anby's body into the ruins of the old capital, she was found by a pink-haired woman named Nicole Damara. She took Anby in and cared for her as family, causing Anby to eventually adopt Nicole's surname, now calling herself Anby Damara. Together, these two founded a faction called Gentle House, that would later be known as the Cunning Hares. Meanwhile, Wise and Bell, the siblings we previously mentioned to be under Carol Arna's wing at the Helios Research Institute, set up an account as a proxy on Internet. The Internet, also known as the Proxy Network, is a forum where civilians and proxies alike can create posts and discussions about hollows, or even post commissions requesting the help of proxies to retrieve items or loved ones from within a hollow. The government-run HIA, or Hollow Investigative Association, as mentioned previously, can become quite expensive, which leads a large number of civilians to put their trust in the illegal proxies to do their work instead. As the siblings create their account called Faithin, they move to 6th Street in New Eridu and begin managing their own video store named Random Play, using the store as a cover for their proxy business. Deep inside the store is the HDD system and their Bangbu, EOS, that they managed to save with Carol Arna back during the fall of the old capital. As I stated earlier, the HDD, or Hollow Deep Dive system, is a unique smart device that is linked to the eye implants that Carol gave the siblings. This system allows Wise and Bell to connect to EOS, allowing full control of the Bangbu as if it were their own body. However, due to the implants creating a full sensory link between Faithin and EOS, any sensation that EOS feels causes the connected sibling to feel the same thing. The major benefit of using this system is that it allows Wise and Bell to communicate with each other and others while inside a hollow, something that is otherwise impossible, as the hollows block all signal communication with the outside world while inside. By using the HDD system and their Bangbu double, their ability to communicate from outside the hollow with the investigators they work with starts to bring renown to the Faithin name as they rise through the ranks of being a proxy. As Wise and Bell are completing smaller Internet commissions for money, they encounter a man named Shepard. Shepard is a commission broker who filters out high-quality and high-paying commissions for proxies for using a small percentage of the commission fee. The first commission Shepard offers the siblings is something much more than they could have ever anticipated. The individual who posted it is looking for a specific woman. However, they gave very little detail on how to find her, only providing a single photo, some sheet music, and a harmonica. The photo was of a timid woman with her eyes completely covered. The siblings decide to head to a port in New Eridu named Port Elpis, as they believe they've seen someone with covered eyes there before. Once they arrive, one of them hacks the cameras in the surrounding area to check the feed and try to find the woman, while the other sibling asks the locals in the area if they've seen anyone that looks like the woman in the photo. While asking around, they come across a stern woman who mentions that it would be better to ask the public security officers in the area before showing her distaste towards PubSec, as they cannot even deal with simple problems like ether batteries floating in the sea. She quickly takes her leave as the siblings resort to the final option. They begin to play the sheet music with the harmonica. And as if it were fate, the woman from the image appears before them. After discussing where they learned the song that they were playing, the woman agrees to follow the siblings home and meet with the client that sent the commission. They arrive back at the video store and the woman introduces herself as Charon. Despite her blindness, she immediately showcases her enhanced other senses by pointing out a faulty TV in the HDD system as it was continuously buzzing. She explains that she lost her vision in an accident, but worked on her other senses to make up for it. Shortly after this, Shepard arrives with the unfortunate news that the client who posted the commission has not responded in days, but had just randomly sent a location near the edge of a hollow. Charon mentions that we can take her into the hollow and search around, as she was a soldier who had served with the Eridu Defense Force under the Chrysoberyl Division as a sniper before retiring after the fall of the old capital. The siblings enter the hollow, using Eos and a company trigger, where they end up finding the corpses of 2 individuals. Charon mentions that they seem to have only died recently, and that they have bullet wounds representing sniper rounds. Cautiously, they continue exploring. After a short time, they find even more people within the hollow. However, this time, they are only unconscious. Using her special ether detection from her ether-corrupted eyes, Charon can tell that one of these unconscious individuals is not going to live for much longer, as she mentions that she can see the ether fluctuations in his body and that he will pass soon. Charon pulls out the harmonica and begins to play a familiar melody. The tune echoes through the hollow as the dying man stops groaning and simply listens to the music before taking his last breath. This peaceful moment doesn't last long, as another one of the bodies awakens. Charon convinces him to help carry the other 2 unconscious bodies out of the hollow. After reaching safety near the abandoned ballet twins, which were left empty following another hollow disaster, they question what happened to each person. They learn that each of the victims had served in the military at one point in their life, and one of them was the stern woman that the siblings spoke to at Port Elpis. She mentions her name is Zoe, and the names of the others were Aaron and Jesse. They all described their traumatic experience of being kidnapped and brought into the hollow, only to be played with as someone sniped at them, shooting them in non-vital areas and causing them to run into ethereals. Some twisted individual was sniping at them for fun, watching them run for their lives. Charon questions them further and learns that Zoe was a part of the Impura squad, Aaron was a part of Chartis squad, and Jesse was in the Noct squad. Aaron mentions that all 3 of their squads worked together on a mission during the fall of the old capital outside of Hollow Zero. Before leaving, the veterans mention that they are going to Remembrance Day soon and hope to see the others there as well. Remembrance Day is an event organized by the Defense Force for the families of the deceased soldiers and veterans as they gather to mourn the loss of their loved ones from the expansion of Hollow Zero. After returning to the video store, Shepard comes running in while out of breath and exclaims the client had sent yet another location at the edge of a hollow 10 minutes prior. Charon states that she would like to go and investigate, no matter the danger, because it's important to her to find the client that posted the commission. After retiring from the military, she spent years searching for her missing teammates. To someone raised as an orphan like her, they were family. She had searched every corner of New Eridu and had lost all hope until she heard the siblings play the harmonica at the port. This song was called Homecoming and was composed by her squad leader. This client is the last lead she has in trying to find her squad, as they were the ones who provided the sheet music. Wise and Bell agree to help her in the hollow once again. Things go a little different this time around, as once they enter the hollow, they find a communication device. Shortly after turning it on, a voice introduces herself as Grim Vulture, and mentions how glad they are that a sniper of Liar Squad is here. They have a list of names that they're crossing off, and it just so happens that Charon is next. This won't stop the Vulture from trying to have fun first, though. The siblings and Charon go through each trap as Grim Vulture continues to snipe at them. At the end of each route, Vulture has set up a surprise package of seemingly bloodied items from each fallen teammate of Charon's squad, of her family. Vulture relentlessly mocked and berated Charon with insults. She is the reason her squad is dead. She wasn't a good enough soldier to save them. All the while, Vulture tortures Charon with stories of how each one of her teammates died.
Such a pity. In the end, both her hands were missing. Oh, don't you think that's a shame, little sniper? such beautiful hands, yet they could no longer hold the sword. Ethereal's gnawed off her arms, and part of her leg as well.
Charon fires off a shot in a fit of rage with the intent to kill Vulture, but misses. In return, Vulture decides to tell some of Charon's story, as she explains that her teammates went missing during the fall of the old capital, which can only mean one thing. As soldiers that fought during the tragedy, they were either killed by Ethereals or became them. She declares that Charon is creating false truths to give herself reason to go on, and will latch onto any excuse that her teammates are still alive. Charon stands there visibly shaken by the verbal assault as Vulture attempts to snipe once again, and the siblings drag Charon and escape via a nearby fissure. Once back at the video store, the siblings attempt to console Charon as she explains the full story of her tragedy. In the first hour that Hollow Zero started expanding, the Defense Force HQ believed it was just a normal Hollow disaster, and thought that they could suppress it with the normal amount of troops. The Liar Squad was among the first troops to be sent. Before they left, they were promised to receive backup shortly after. As HQ realized how bad the disaster was, as it was devouring Eridu at a horrifying speed, they decided not to send reinforcements, causing the initial troops they sent out to deal with an endless torrent of ethereals like never before seen. Charon mentions that an ethereal beam had hit her in the face, causing her eyes to become corrupted, that she shortly lost consciousness after. She eventually wakes up again, and the last thing she sees before her eyesight disappears forever was her squad mates standing in front of her, looking back as a massive ethereal loomed in the background. She then lost consciousness once again before waking up back at base. She hasn't seen her squad since, and has no idea who saved her life. Shortly after she was rescued was when they decided to detonate the Shiyu pillars to regain control of the Hollow. In case you didn't connect the dots already, yes, the so-called Charon we have been discussing was in fact Trigger from Liar Squad mentioned previously. Zoe, the woman they saved from the Hollow before, was the same Zoe that was asked by Charon, the leader of Liar Squad, to drag Trigger to safety. We'll get into why Trigger took Charon's name in a bit, but for now, let's continue. Wise and Belle console Charon by telling her a little of their story, and how they're in a similar boat. They too are searching for someone important to them that they know is alive somewhere, but have no proof. All they can do is just hold out hope, no matter how many tell them otherwise. This tender moment ends as Shepard appears with a new location. However, this time, it's at Scott Outpost, a base managed by the Defense Force and White Star Institute to keep watch and research over Hollow Zero. Conveniently, this is the same location that the Remembrance Day ceremony is being held. In fact, it's happening as they speak. Charon and the siblings head to Scott Outpost to attempt and have direct contact with Grim Vulture, but when they arrive, Charon sees the family of her deceased teammates and musters up the courage to speak to them. Many console her, saying it was never her fault. However, one younger girl named Zeta, the daughter of her teammate Styx, has her own opinion.
If that's so, why didn't you protect my dad during the fall of the old capital? Why did you let him die and make him unable to come back to me?
The mother, Sally, apologizes for her behavior as they take their leave. Shortly after, all of the family from each member comes up to Charon and mentions how much she meant to each of their teammates, and that, while it's sad that they're gone, they have managed to make the most of their loss, and have been able to achieve many new dreams while attempting to make their loved ones proud. They mention that they were all invited to Remembrance Day via a DM by a man named Nathan, who was the brother of Lethe, another one of Charon's teammates. He was a part of the Defense Force and was actually a part of the squad that was supposed to be reinforcements for the Liar and Nemesis squads, but couldn't stop the Defense Force from pulling them back out, causing Nathan to leave his own brother behind. Charon asks which squad he was a part of, and he responds Impura, the same squad that Zoe, the girl they saved from the Hollow before, said she was a part of. Right on time after this revelation is made, the Defense Force begins a speech from a retired member of the Force. And who else but Zoe walks up to the stand for a speech.
Hello, everyone. I'm honored to stand here and speak on behalf of all of the soldiers of the Defense Force. Today, we gather to commemorate Remembrance Day, a day born from the tragedy of the old capital's fall.
Zoe raised her eyes to scan the crowd. Her eyes fell upon Charon, and her demeanor suddenly changed as she continued.
My speech was meant to end here, but since you all seem quite engaged, please allow me to share a little more. The reason you all agree with what I've said is because it offers a way to step away from the pain. That's what the living do. They seek ways to ease the weight of others' deaths so they can find a way to start over. This is the new Eridu of today. A huge disaster consumed the old capital, and the people who survived it keep saying things like, treasure the moment and start fresh to numb themselves, hoping to forget the nightmare. No one talks about the soldiers who gave their lives in Hollow Zero. No one asks why they had to die. The brave gave their lives battling the ethereal onslaught, while the weak survived.
The speech continues to grow in angst between Charon and Zoe before Zoe firmly declares that her speech is over and flees the outpost. Suddenly, the siblings receive a call from Shepard saying that he received yet another location at the edge of the Hollow in Port Elpis, along with a photo of more tied-up individuals. Charon and the siblings return to the video store as they prepare to enter the Hollow for the last time to have a sniper duel with Grim Vulture. Once they enter, they find yet another communicator where Grim Vulture starts her normal trash talk. This time, Charon decides to fight back, stating that she understands now. Grim Vulture, who at this point is clear to be Zoe, stated that she was in the Nemesis squad during her speech, meaning that she was in a squad who was left to die like Charon. They had been on similar paths, but took different routes after the fall of the old capital. While Charon had tried to live a normal life and find her missing teammates, Zoe had taken it upon herself to find the members of the squads that were supposed to provide backup and kill them all for fleeing like cowards. Zoe continues her mocking method, this time on the individuals in the squads she killed.
Noct, Cartus, Impura, and many other squads. Did you know the reinforcements that were meant to back us up ended up deciding to retreat? Relying on a show of hands to vote. Isn't that ridiculous? Our lives were discarded in such an absurd way, like a kindergarten election for class monitor. When
Put it
I
up.
killed them, I employed the same method. I made the dozen or so people I captured vote on who I should kill first. You wouldn't believe how funny it was.
The two continue to fight over morals and which path is right until they have a final standoff. During the battle, Charon uses a precise moment of the wind, ripping a flag off the
This
building
is the
to
easiest and most efficient cactus farm in Minecraft to build a 2-layer farm, but you can
block Zoe's vision as they both get hit by precision shots. Thankfully, the bullet that hit Charon struck the harmonica in her vest.
This is the easy to improve efficiency, and these are the materials you need.
and didn't pierce through. Charon goes to Zoe's side as she bleeds out from the sniper shot. The storm pouring down around them can't seem to wash away the scent of her blood. They have one final conversation in which Zoe reveals that she was the one who saved Charon from the ruins of Eridu at the request of her former squad captain. She also reveals that she did not kill some of the members that were tied up in the image sent to Shepard, and that they were still alive. As Zoe recites her life's message, she continues to bleed out. Charon pulls out the bullet-marred harmonica and plays the same familiar melody, Homecoming, once again, while enduring the pain of her corrupted eyes. A faint glimmer appeared in Zoe's empty eyes in her final moments as she finally finds her own peace. After rescuing the kidnapped Defense Force soldiers and leaving the Hollow, Charon and the siblings anonymously report the situation to PubSec and reach out to Shepard to set up a meeting with him and the people they saved. The meeting was set at Port Elpis, and upon checking the trash next to where the siblings first met Zoe, they find a journal written by her. In this journal, we find out that Zoe had a plan to train a new Guardian of Eridu by throwing them into a hollow and sniping at them from afar. If the person managed to best her, then Eridu would finally have a new Guardian. Zoe writes that one of her teammates in the Nemesis squad, Peregrine, had proposed to her, but she was too shy to give an answer. She decided that after her next mission, she would finally wear the beautiful outfit he had bought for her and give him her answer. That mission was the fall of Eridu. The siblings put the journal back where they found it and let it rest, before meeting back up with Charon and interacting with Nathan. Apparently, Nathan managed to find a gift left behind by Lethe and his belongings with a recording on it meant for Charon. She played it aloud for the siblings.
Hey, hello? Alright, it's a recording. This is a message from Liar Squad for our little sniper. Everyone ready? I'll count down. 3.
Fashion.
No one can shoulder everything alone. Don't try to carry everything on your own. Choosing to fight on the battlefield is my resolve. Feel it. Share yours with me. And when it's your turn to watch my back, I'll give my all to honor it too.
As long as you fight with all your strength, there's no such thing as failing to protect something, because your will and our will is preserved and carried on in other ways. But don't let that weigh on you. Try to...
Waalaikumsalam. What time you usually leave your house to go salat? What time do you usually leave your house to go salat? Tomorrow, Friday, right? So you always late, ah? Damn. I go early. I come back early. My build just disappeared, man. Schematic placement. Loaded skirt. Why don't you move it? Possession, bro. Of course. Possession. Possession was Baraka, bro. Yeah. How to know the area of the schematic? Is it just go area editor? No, I want to know the measurement. It's like 40 by what? I don't know how to check that. Okay, schematic placements, configure, schematic placement, configure, material list, is it? It's not in the material list, you don't care. No, like, you know, length, diameter and everything. No, I do not have clay. How you move the schematic if it's already stuck in place? I already pressed configure. No, I want to move it. Yeah, I control already, but it's not moving. Wait, schematic. No, it's not locked. I can't move. What the heck? Why can't it move? Huh? Yeah, mode 2, what? Schematic placement. Is this salah? Is the placement salah? No, it's the mode salah. Yeah. Oh my god, I'm pressing. Oh, I can't move. It's not even locked, man. Alt scroll. Move here. Eh. Delete. Wait, how you delete it? How you delete a schematic? Okay.
Trust in us, just like we trust in you, no matter what. I've struggled with that kind of thinking myself, but I eventually made my way through it.
51 by
All this
24
talk of
by
camaraderie,
31.
of keeping each other safe. It's like a harmonica melody scoring our time together. Even when things change, our tune will go on, and that's enough.
Exactly. Honestly, I'm sometimes terrified. Afraid that someday, you'll blame yourself for failing to protect us and fall apart. That's why I wanted to record this message. Please, don't try to bear everything alone. Maybe you can start relying on us more, fully entrusting your vulnerable side to us. Our will has long been intertwined with yours. We're comrades. This is getting way too sentimental. It doesn't feel like me anymore. Anyway, we just want to see you trusting your comrades enough to share your burdens, even if it isn't us. Finally, we'd like to give you the song that's closest to us. If what we've said is hard to understand, just feel it through the music. Please, enjoy my masterpiece, Homecoming.
As you heard here, and as I mentioned before, the old squad leader's name was Charon, and the Charon in front of the siblings finally admits why she took her captain's old codename. She believed that as someone who couldn't protect her own squad, she didn't deserve her codename. And so, she took on Charon's name to honor her, as the real Charon was an orphan just like her, and didn't have any family. meaning Trigger may be the last person alive to remember her. Right before she reveals her true code name as Trigger to the siblings, they stop her. Since Trigger wants to find the people behind the fall of the old capital and bring them to justice, and the siblings are simultaneously trying to find and clear Carol Arna's name, they say to her that although they are walking different paths, it will all eventually lead to the same destination. Once they arrive there, only then can Trigger reveal her true codename to them. She leaves the siblings and decides to accept an offer to join the Obsidian Division. The Obsidian Division being the last remaining division after the fall of the old capital means that they have to be sent out on a large array of missions all across New Eridu. On one such mission, an Obsidian Division soldier named Tsukishiro Yanagi was sent to fight a clan of Oni rebels who were fighting to live within New Eridu's limits. During the mission, she finds a hungry blue Oni child. As she attempts to feed her, a bomb comes sailing down from the sky.
Get down!
She covers the Oni girl during the explosion and passes out. She awakens later within the Oni's den, as they argue on what to do with the human they found with the child, Sokaku. Yanagi begins to lecture the Oni leaders, saying that their desire to keep seeking revenge is why the cycle of bloodshed continues over and over. Humans and Oni are both to blame for the war between the two. Sokaku runs over and bites Yanagi's thigh while yelling to the Oni leader.
Sokaku, come here now.
Sis! This lady gave Shokaku tasty food! Shokaku wants to share with everyone!
The leader tells the other Oni to stand down and asks Yanagi why she's there. Yanagi explains that if her intel's correct, the Oni leader that started all of this is already dead, and there's no reason to keep fighting. Since Sokaku's sister is responsible for the fights after the original leader's death, she sacrifices herself and merges her blood with Yanagi, making her a symbol of peace and unity between Oni and humankind. Now, with half Oni, half human blood, Yanagi begins to return to New Eridu to find and clear
You, no matter what. I've struggled with that kind of thinking like you.
Find and clear Carol Arna's name. Seeking revenge is why the cycle of bloodshed continues over and over. Humans and Oni are both to blame for the war between the two. Sokaku runs over and bites Yanagi's thigh while yelling to the Oni leader.
Sokaku, come here now.
Sis! This lady gave Shokaku tasty food! Shokaku wants to share with everyone!
The leader tells the other Oni to stand down and asks Yanagi why she's there. Yanagi explains that if her intel's correct, the Oni leader that started all of this is already dead, and there's no reason to keep fighting. Since Sokaku's sister is responsible for the fights after the original leader's death, she sacrifices herself and merges her blood with Yanagi, making her a symbol of peace and unity between Oni and humankind. Now, with half Oni, half human blood, Yanagi begins to return to New Eridu under the ruse that the Oni have been dealt with. However, Sokaku runs after Yanagi, who now smells of her beloved sister. So Yanagi takes Sokaku back with her as her guardian.
What? What is this?
A few months later, a hollow disaster begins as the hollow named Argos begins to rapidly expand, consuming a part of the city. The Defense Force sets up air support and rallies troops inside to attempt to slay a massive symbiotic ethereal named Lerna. Symbiotic ethereals are an extremely rare, advanced, and dangerous class of ethereal. Not much is known about them at this point, but we'll discuss them later in the video. Due to a lack of intel, the Eridu Defense Force was unaware that destroying one of the ethereal's cores would just spawn more false cores in its place, similar to a Hydra from Greek mythology. In response to this, a consultant of TOPS, a conglomerate of some of the most powerful companies within New Eridu, begins a meeting with the chief commander of the Defense Force, the fox-eared Hoshimi clan descendant Miyabi, as well as the half Oni-blooded Tsukishiro Yanagi and Executive Officer Asaba Haramasa. Both Miyabi and Haramasa are Executive Officers of HAND, which stand for Hollow Affairs and Neutralization Department, a department that works with TOPS and the Defense Force, specializing in taking down high-risk targets such as this. The consultant wants to detonate the Seiyu pillar that is currently inside the Argos Hollow to ensure the death of Lerna. However, as Yanagi points out, this would also kill the civilians attempting to escape, with a total of 208 casualties. Miyabi steps in, overruling the TOPS consultant, who screams that if she fails, the death of everyone and the expansion of Argos into a Great Hollow will be on her hands. Miyabi counters that she can't allow the death of so many innocents. She jumps out of the helicarrier and falls into the hollow from above, wielding the Hoshimi relic sword tailless. In less than 3 minutes, Miyabi manages to shatter all
Aku tak solat ah.
So early.
Tak solat ah.
Why your mic sounds so good suddenly?
Oh, cause it's iPhone 16.
Oh, you going masjid early ah?
We meeting at 12.
You at Feroz ah?
Yeah.
Hanan is it?
No.
Most definitely.
You know, they were like being a public nuisance. Like they were fighting, like literally fist fight. Alpha like yesterday. In front of the hospital.
What hospital?
Raffles Hospital. The building that you were fighting at was Raffles Hospital.
I go and trigger him what? I thought he was over it already.
Got the mentally section ah. Dala, you going anywhere? Oh yeah, you going Norway, right?
Yeah.
Abdullah?
Yes, I am.
When?
6 or 7 December.
Did I hear that right? Did I hear that?
I go to the airport at 6 and then my flight is at 7 November.
You take what?
I go to the airport at like 11 p.m. Then my flight's at like 2 a.m. So technically, I'm So I need to go to the airport on 6th December, then my flight's on 7. So like 6 to 7 December I fly out.
I mean, there's no direct flight to Norway.
What? Norway.
You fly to Finland first, You fly to Finland first,
Wait, I check,
It's either if you go Finland or Germany first, usually,
Fly to Qatar first. Fly to Qatar, then go to Norway. Go to Oslo.
Bro. Take European Airlines, is better. Like,
I should. Allahu Akbar. Which fence? Where the hell you got fence? Fence.
should I just go at 12:30?
Go where? Masjid. Go.
Yeah. Because I said 12 o'clock we meet up. Oh shit.
So early. Yeah, lah. You all choke the spot, 37
No,
village
we
fence.
lepak at the, got lounge, right?
Oh, the lounge. Wait, you guys just lepak there every time,
Yeah. Wait, expect us to do legal, right? MashaAllah. Thank you.
No lah, I go Ansar, I lepak at level 4.
Ansar where?
Bedok.
Ya lah, where lah?
Yeah lah, where? Actually, yeah. Oh, damn.
Yes, Abudi.
I didn't know that.
Yes, Abudi. Abudi said.
I'm just playing.
Abudi, why you sad?
I'm not trying to crowd this fence.
Yeah, we get it at like. Ay.
Oh my god, you glitch.
Oh, Abudi.
Yeah, I really got glitch. I just lazy when I look at it.
How do you not leave your bird sound? Oh, do you not have a birch forest near you?
I flood over, yeah, I got some things. I got all the saplings. 37 birch fence.
Abdullah. Abdullah.
Hey, are you guys going Salam Fest?
I at Batam, bro. Kushari going up on stage. That's why they want to go. The azan thingy.
Yeah, must support him, lah, yes.
Masya Allah. Abadi, look at my screen.
Okay.
Look at my screen. Look, I will show you. I will show you.
Nice English. Okay, my English also like that.
No, no, it's okay, Abadi. Your English is better.
Thank you for the compliment.
Alfan, the thing is, I never said better than who's English. Abdullah Shashki, what you doing?
When I leave, I can't.
Why?
I just can't.
Oh, cause your visa. Yeah, I can tell. Oh, so you can go. Oh, so you can go to my base, but I can't go to yours.
Oh, okay. You want to see? I just show you, okay? Yeah, I show you the minimap. Then you can see. That's what I'm going to show you.
Easy, this one. People like you, please do.
You see already?
What?
Do you see the minimap?
Yes.
Okay, bye. That's what I'm going to say.
Oh, so it's a castle, right?
Something like that. Something like that.
6-7. 6-7. Ui, Alpha Bike. This one by Kia. Naughty boy or hooligan?
Yeah, our go school already.
Hey, pray school.
Huh?
So Abudi, you
Okay, bye.
Abdullah bin Hamzah bin Dia. Abdullah bin Hamzah.
Sam.
Oh. Yeah. Yeah.
All of Lerna's cores, defeating the Ethereal alone, saving the potential 208 casualties and preventing Argos from expanding further. Shortly after this mission, Miyabi is officially granted the title of Void Hunter for her massive accomplishment. Due to Haramasa and Yanagi speaking up against the TOPS consultant, Miyabi asks for the transfer of them both to her command, as she founds a new section within hand that will attempt to seek out the roots of all evil and sever it. Hollow's special operations Section 6. Eventually, Yanagi gets approval for Sokaku to join Section 6 as well, due to Sokaku's incredible strength.
Oh,
that would
you're
allow
going
her
to fetch
help
him from
during
there.
field missions.
Right.
We're leaving at 12:15.
Now, we fast forward a bit to 2
Oh,
years
so you don't-
before the present day. The
bring
White
away.
Star Institute, a faction dedicated to
This will be
researching and
hard.
observing
Oh.
hollows and
luck,
ethereals,
bro.
sought to hold a mission to retrieve both the rare special etheric matter and the research inside their
big,
fourth
bro.
laboratory, which had succumbed to being overtaken by
Okay,
Hollow
I'll
Zero
go prepare
in a
now.
ravine area
Bye.
called the
Assalamualaikum.
Arpeggio Fault.
6 p.m.
During this mission, however, the White Star Institute had no idea there was a spy within their ranks. This spy was Eloa Mystique, a girl who was commonly forgotten and never excelled in any category. She was actually working for the
I'm back.
Rebels, a group of Defense Force defects that betrayed the military and fled to do their own missions. During this mission, she was supposed to obtain a keycard, as the Rebels used mechs stolen from the Defense Force to keep the White Star members at bay while they raided the lab. However, Aloan never managed to obtain the code to the lab vault, which caused the Rebels to move to Plan B, using highly volatile ether explosives that the mechs bought to blow the vault open. Unfortunately for everyone involved, a mysterious symbiotic ethereal that used crimson threads to manipulate people and their consciousness found its way into the vault and began wreaking havoc. Aloa knew that the people she was supposed to betray were in grave danger, and yet she couldn't just let them die. She had grown fond of the researchers at the White Star Institute, and so she fled from the rebels, hacked into the mechs, and gave them a new directive. Instead of bringing the bombs to the designated location, the mechs were sent to seek out individuals with high ether activity and detonate the bombs in close proximity. This was successful in causing the massive ethereal to retreat. However, in the process, Aloan had suffered too much corruption and was going to turn into an ethereal herself. She made one final request to the White Star team: to be cremated before the Hollow could cause her to turn. If she was going out, she wanted to go out on her own terms. The team agreed and buried her remains within the vault and left a gravestone behind in her memory, as they were only alive because of her. In the end, neither the Rebels nor the White Star Institute were able to make it to the 4th laboratory. This left the special etheric matter and research inside to never be recovered or seen again. Or so they thought. We'll come back to this later. Woo! Okay. You still with me? I know I've been yapping your ear off for quite a while, but I have some great news. We can now officially start to get into the story and lore that starts at the beginning of the game. Fun, right? Let's begin. Of course, the game starts off by introducing the main siblings, Wise and Belle, chilling in Random Play's office watching TV. We see the head of Janus Quarter's public security, Officer Justin Bringer, on the news. He gives a briefing to the reporters about the operation on 14th Street, where they are currently conducting a manhunt for the Red Fang Gang and their leader, Miguel Silver. The Red Fang Gang are a criminal faction in New Eridu that, according to Officer Bringer, perpetrated a terrorist attack against the White Star Institute. Remember this, officer, as he will become extremely important later. Unfortunately for public security, their manhunt has just been interrupted by the appearance of a holo on 14th Street. Unbeknownst to the siblings, it just so happens that this manhunt also involves the main faction and customers of Phaethon, the Cunning Hares, previously known as Gentle House. At this point, we've already discussed how Nicole found Anby and founded the Gentle House, but since then, Billy the Kid has joined the faction. Billy is an intelligent construct from the old civilization that resided in the area outside of New Eridu called the Outer Ring for quite some time. He eventually made his way to New Eridu, where he met Nicole and joined the ranks of the Cunning Hares. It might seem like a catchphrase at this point, but we'll get more into that later. The Cunning Hares were deep in the red with financials, so Nicole took a risky commission to steal a strongbox from the Red Fang Gang. When things inevitably went wrong, the Red Fang Gang, led by Miguel Silver, chased Nicole and company to the top of a building in the Janus Quarter. Unfortunately, they get closed off and pinned down by the Red Fangs. Being out of options, they use a flashbang to alert the public security air force in the area, and, with the help of a deranged news reporter, cause an explosion, which knocks Billy, Anby, Miguel Silver, and the all-important strongbox into the hollow below. This is obviously very dangerous for everyone involved, as they fall in with no proxy or carrot support. Thankfully, Anby quickly runs into Billy, and they look for a way out of the hollow. On the way, they come across the strongbox. Hooray! Which is next to the currently mutating Miguel Silver. They witness as he fully mutates into a Dullahan ethereal, and Billy quickly acts to provide cover for the two of them to retreat to safety, as they know that they can't take them down by themselves. Meanwhile, the siblings are still watching the news report as Nicole frantically breaks down the door, informs them of what happened, and begins to try and hire them to help her get Anby and Billy out of the hollow. During this conversation, Nicole does mention that the general election is around the corner, which, albeit just a passing comment, this general election will be a plot point in the future, and I recommend keeping that in the back of your mind. The siblings agree to help Nicole save the rest of the Cunning Hares, and she places Eos at a designated location, while Phaethon connects to him through the HDD and enters the hollow. They quickly locate Anby and Billy and extract them to safety, leaving behind the strongbox in the hollow for now. Once everyone's reunited, Nicole gives the siblings a USB drive she took off Miguel Silver to try and decrypt the information in case it has something on the strongbox. While the siblings decrypt the drive, the Cunning Hares come up with a foolproof plan to re-enter the hollow and retrieve the strongbox. This incredible plan is instantly derailed after entering the hollow, as the HDD system gets hacked and taken over for a short period by someone named White Noise. This causes the siblings to get disconnected from Eos, leaving the Cunning Hares stranded with no proxy and no carrot data. Shortly thereafter, the Hares come across a group of hollow investigators. Billy suggests that they give up the identity of Phaethon in order to receive help out of the hollow, but Nicole declines and tells them to keep moving. On Phaethon's side of the hack, the siblings learn from the hacker that the strongbox contains an AI system that can calculate hollow paths similarly to the scale of Rosetta data, which, as we mentioned before, is the master copy of hollow data only accessible to the city's rulers. The siblings quickly realize that this hacker is not all he seems cracked up to be, and outsmarts him by sacrificing their Phaethon account to him and then calling PubSec on Phaethon, who was now the hacker. As White Noise leaves to deal with the sirens that are approaching his location, the siblings promptly reconnect to Eos and continue on with the Cunning Hares to find the strongbox. After defeating the Doulahan, who was once Miguel Silver, the siblings mention that the carrot data they originally had was corrupted due to the hacking that just occurred, and their only option is to open the strongbox and use what's inside to find a way out. Nicole gives her permission, and Phaethon inserts the data chip from the strongbox into Eos's cute little forehead. The sibling controlling the HDD then receives a strange memory or vision of them standing by Hollow Zero at what appears to be the lookout tower located in the Scott outpost. They watch as Hollow Zero starts to expand and consume everything around it before the vision ends. While they reel from what they just saw, the sibling gets flooded with information and agrees to a contract with Fairy to wait for the opportunity before passing out. We then get to hear a conversation between the two mysterious voices that are said to be outside of New Eridu. Remember when I said we'd come back to this later? These are the two people I mentioned towards the start that are overseeing the powerful AIs that were put to sleep. The voice mentions that one of the keys has been activated, mentioning all four super AIs: Fairy, Yokai, Jenny, and Ghost. Once this conversation ends, the sibling that passed out and agreed to the contract is woken up by a mysterious doctor, provided by Nicole, of course, who pulls them out of the HDD. Fairy introduces herself to Phaethon as a Type 3 general-purpose AI equipped with total sequential integration and the ability to access over 80% of smart devices in the city. This marks the end of the prologue as the siblings start to use Fairy to build up a new Internet account after giving away the Phaethon account to get rid of the hacker. The siblings take a break from working the smaller level commissions and decide to watch some TV together for the night. Meanwhile, the Cunning Hares are off to find out more information about the Strongbox and why the Red Fang gang stole it. While watching TV, the news comes on, showcasing Mr. Perlman and Sarah, who talk about Vision Corporation and their amazing plan to rework the old Metro project, which they won the bid for by beating out Bellabog Heavy Industries, now owned by Coletta Bellabog, who took over once she was old enough after the disappearance of her father. Vision Corporation offered to do this project in less time with lower costs. Their plan was to send special explosives to the demolition zone since they had evacuated all the residents there. But there was a hollow blocking part of the metro line called the Dead End Hollow. So they decided to send these explosives through a special train, transporting them through the hollow itself. During the news segment, a Cat Thyron girl bursts into the store and mentions that she hired Nicole and the Cunning Hares for a commission and was sent there by Nicole while she deals with the mass amounts of residents still within the blast zone because, surprise, surprise, the way they actually lowered the cost of the Metro project was that they didn't evacuate anyone. To prove that she's telling the truth, she gives the siblings Nicole's bang boost so they can look at the visual data and see the entire situation firsthand. The playback starts and we get to see Nicole being chased by the Red Fang gang, which she quickly handles, but then gets surprise attacked by the cat girl that came into the video store, who explains to Nicole that she wants to hire them to help her retrieve her family heirloom from the gang. In this conversation, she also mentions her name, Neko Miyamana, or Nekomata for short. The news kicks back on, interrupting the siblings from watching more of the Bang Boo footage, as they announce that the final train of explosives are on their way to the demolition site. So the siblings quickly come up with a plan to intercept the train and stop it before it can arrive. While Nekomata and the siblings are on the way to the train's location, they ran into a small maid wielding a chainsaw who introduces herself as Corin. She got stuck behind a train and had no carrot data to get out of the hollow. Phaethon and Nekomata quickly help Corin find a way out before continuing towards the train. Upon getting inside the train, they find it filled with fake public security officers. Nekomata quickly jumps into the train and throws Phaethon out to return to the store, mentioning that she has a carrot to escape. Once the siblings return to random play, they learn that the demolition has been postponed for an extra day due to technical difficulties, giving them a little bit more time to save the residents near the demolition zone. They come up with a new plan to use the train to evacuate both the residents and the Cunning Hares from the blast zone. This is safe for the residents as well, since the train itself is resistant to ether corruption, so it will act as a sort of suit for the residents to avoid getting corrupted as they travel through the hollow. Shockingly, this plan goes south. When they capture Perlman to hijack the train, one of the fake public security officers blows up the tracks, rendering the train plan useless. Nekomata then reveals that she actually used to work for the Red Fang Gang, and that the heirloom she was looking for was a picture of her and Miguel Silver. She originally hired the Cunning Hares to get close to them in order to get revenge for killing Miguel Silver. Alas, Nekomiya has a change of heart when she sees how hard the Hares were working to get the residents to safety, and after learning that Miguel fell into the hollow rather than being killed by the Hares. She then attempts to offer herself and Perlman as a bargaining chip to stop the demolition plan. This, however, does not work, as Sarah immediately shoots Perlman with a sleep dart, exclaiming that he is but a pawn in the bigger scheme of things, which means Nekomata's plan has now failed. Thankfully, the siblings had come up with a backup plan when Nekomata fled with Perlman, just in case it didn't work. The size of a hollow depends on the amount of ether energy inside it. This includes all the ethereals within it, meaning if they could reduce the size of a hollow, then it could shrink enough to allow the residents to leave through the train tunnel without having to risk ether corruption. To do this, Phaethon sends the Cunning Hares on a mission to kill the Dead-End Butcher, a high-ranking ethereal with enough ether energy to equal hundreds of normal ones. Once the Cunning Hares destroy the Dead-End Butcher, they start to evacuate everyone. Frustrated, Sarah tries a last-ditch effort and orders the fake public security officers to open fire on all the residents. When all hope seems lost, our girl Nicole comes in clutch and saves the day. Thinking ahead, Miss Damara had contacted Bellabog Heavy Industries, who showed up in person to inspect the situation with the media in tow. As the residents celebrated, the fake public security officers were taken into custody and Sarah fled the scene. In the aftermath, the Cunning Hares decided to add Nekomata to the team as a permanent member, and Nicole agrees to represent the thankfully still alive residents in court for the inevitable hearings against the Vision Corporation as a result of the whole situation. During the downtime after the Vision debacle, Shepard reached back out to the siblings for a special commission that would involve meeting up with a Defense Force agent. They agree and decide to meet the agent in the back alley of the video store and use the code words Shepard gave them to signal they are the proxy.
Flame? Thunder.
After completing the code word, the white-haired agent introduces herself as Soldier 11 of the Defense Force. If you remember, this is the same woman that Anby sacrificed herself for back during their time in Silver Company. After Silver Company was dissolved, Soldier 11 was transferred to a normal squad within Obsidian Division, the Obel Squad. Soldier 11 is unaware of the real identity of the siblings and explains that for this upcoming mission, she needs them to act like they are the legendary proxy Phaethon. There's a mole within the Defense Force leading a rebel squad, and she intends on infiltrating the rebel group as a spy to bring them to justice. She expresses how much hate she holds for traitors and will never see them as anything more than worthless. Thankfully, the leader of the rebel group is a huge fan of Phaethon, so Soldier 11 brought the siblings in to act as a fake Phaethon to buy her some trust with the rebel group and be fully initiated. After some missions with the mole, and as the siblings prove their worth as the legendary proxy Phaethon, he gives Soldier another mission. Steal confidential Defense Force information from a mech that was left inside a hollow. This is risky, because there's a chance that 11 could get caught by other Obsidian Division members and be seen as a real traitor. So, 11 asked the siblings to come up with a new route that would sneak them out of the hollow without being alerted. She steals the information from the mech, which begins a self-destruct sequence. Thankfully, the siblings manage to tap into an old Defense Force beacon and get enough hollow information to create a new route out of the hollow. Finally, the mole sets up one final meeting, but this time in person, in order to thank Soldier 11 for the information and for defecting from the Defense Force. However, once they arrive at the location the mole sent, there is no Mr. Mole, but instead, there's a ton of Rebel Army members ready to take 11 down. Mr. Mole comes over the intercom stating he knew she would never defect, and that Shepard's information network has been compromised for a long time. Soldier attempts to call for her teammate, Trigger, but gets no response, as the Rebel Army had set up jammers in the area. If you remember, Trigger had joined the Obsidian Division's Obel Squad after the debacle with Zoe, also known as Grim Vulture. Soldier yells at Phaethon to run away and try to call for backup as she holds them off. After hacking into another old Defense Force beacon, they manage to get a hold of Trigger, who who fires off a shot next to Phaethon as a body drops dead.
Sniper Trigger, in position.
Phaethon returns to Eleven's location to let her know that Trigger is in position, and together they defeat the rebels and Mr. Mole, who had stolen a Defense Force mech, as a final hurrah to make it out. Once the mission is complete, Eleven thanks the siblings for their help and says that she would love to work with them again in the future. As the proxies begin taking on smaller commissions again, Shepard comes in again. This time, he mentions that he had somehow acquired backdoor access to Hollow Zero, as they've begun routine operations yet again. Since the siblings are attempting to get back to Helios Research Institute in order to find evidence that can clear Carol Arna's name from the Pillar of Shame, they jump at the opportunity to explore Hollow Zero, despite knowing that Shepard's information has likely been compromised. All they have to do is complete a test commission inside Hollow Zero with an HIA investigator keeping watch on them. During this test commission, they encounter Nineveh, another symbiotic ethereal. Nineveh is a special swarm type of ethereal that is capable of causing a special type of ether corruption known as the Withering. This is the same ethereal that Trigger and the rest of Liar Squad faced during the fall of the old capital. As one of the swarm is about to attack Eos and the investigator, they are saved by Hoshimi Miyabi and the leader of Hollow Special Operations Section 6, or HSOS 6 for short. Miyabi immediately leaves after vanquishing the swarm, followed by the rest of Section 6. Due to this being an emergency, the Hollow investigator hands Eos over to Section 6 as they continue through Hollow Zero to catch up with Miyabi. After a bit, they find Miyabi as she attempts to strike down Nineveh. Unfortunately, despite her immense strength, Void Hunter status, and legendary Cursed Blade that can only be opened with her fingerprint via a scanner on the scabbard, she was unable to make a hit that would leave lasting damage. Thus, Section 6 take Eos and head back to the Scott Outpost to report their findings. Just like Soldier 11, Miyabi mentions that they too would love to work with the siblings again in the future. While chilling at the video store, Nekomata approaches the siblings, asking if they would be willing to accept a commission with her to assist a company in conducting a preliminary survey for a hollow route. She feels like she needs to repay the cutting hairs in some way after they took her in, and with the hairs in the red when it comes to Dinnie's, she decides that she needs to help in some way. While the initial commission pay is not much, it could lead to a follow-up commission after the survey that would reap huge rewards. The siblings agree and they enter the Hollow to meet up with a company contact as Nekomata takes the lead. Once inside, they meet the company contact who introduces himself as Ollie. He comes off very suspicious and extremely skittish when it comes to being inside a Hollow, something a normal field survey contact would be used to. The three of them continue deeper into the Hollow as Ollie continues screaming at every ethereal that appears, and Nekomata quickly takes care of them. Eventually, Nekomata decides to probe Ollie with a few questions, as he seems too suspicious, and decides along with Phaethon that he is definitely a fake. Once they reach the end of the survey, Nekomata decides to get full confirmation, pickpocketing Ollie and finding a pair of handcuffs. Ollie freaks out and admits that he's actually a public security officer. They all leave the Hollow, and Ollie begs Nekomata to not tell anyone about meeting him during this mission, as it was top secret and he can't let information leak. He explains that he has a phobia of ethereals and has screwed up a couple operations, to the point that he's never sent on missions anymore. A current case his team is working on was lacking in leads, so he believed he could use Internaut as a way to lure in a culprit to get some crime-related info. As they are discussing this, Ollie's superior tells him that using Internaut was a great idea, and that if Ollie can crack the case, then he will take first merit for it and get a handsome bonus. While it seems great at first, Ollie quickly realizes that this means he'll have to go on future operations with the team in the Hollow, and is afraid he'll mess things up again once he encounters ethereals. So, Ollie asks Nekomata and Phaethon to act as his case consultants in order to complete the mission. Nekomata agrees on the condition that she gets his entire bonus that his superior mentioned. The following day, Nekomata decides to tail some public security officers to try and learn some intel on how they operate, to prepare for when Ollie reaches back out. Thankfully, Ollie does reach back out the following day with a plan for the investigation. He wants Nekomata to enter the Hollow and provide remote support in case any ethereals show up, so he can feel safe while setting up ether resource traps for 2 other public security officers in an attempt to try and catch the criminals in the hollow. Unfortunately, Ollie sent Nekomata the wrong coordinates, sending her to the officers while he went to the location intended for Nekomata. In the heat of the moment, Nekomata decides to claim that she was Ollie to the officers, setting herself on a path to impersonate Ollie during the mission. As she and the officers continue in the hollow, they begin engaging in gossip of recent events at the station. Thanks to Nekomata's tailing of the public security officers the previous day, she managed to blend in perfectly without raising any suspicions. However, she does say one thing that causes the officers to ask more detailed questions, and although Nekomata almost reveals her identity, she manages to fabricate some lies by using the truth of her past in the situation she faced alongside the Cunning Hares during the Vision debacle. She gains the officers' trust back and even earns their respect for the supposed reason she became a police officer. Once the 3 of them set up the bait, Ollie begins screaming over the intercom that he encountered some ethereals. Nekomata quickly comes up with a plan. She tells the officers that there could be a potential stalker nearby, and to wait there while she checks it out. As the officers wait, Nekomata dashes over to Ollie's location, saving him from the ethereals. While she does this, the other 2 officers staying by the bait actually manage to catch and apprehend some criminals, and Nekomata asks them to bring the culprits back for interrogation, tasking Ollie with keeping her updated on the status. After a while, Ollie reaches back out to Nekomata. He explains that they managed to get the gang member Alberto to leak all the information on their plans, and that they've decided to use Alberto to set up a sting. They had him leak information to the gang that the ether resources they found in the hollow set up by PubSec were legit, and that there's plenty more to grab. Ollie's mission this time is to lead a small team along with Alberto to capture those involved in fencing the stolen goods, all while inside the hollow. Naturally, the mission did not go as planned. The gang had set up an ambush to take down the team of PubSec officers that was originally supposed to take in the other gang members. After capturing the other officers, the gang threatens Ollie, who takes a page out of Nekomata's book and tells a backstory mixed with lies and truth on why he should be kept alive. The gang threatens Ollie again. Help them find the resources, or he will lose his life. Ollie, thinking quickly, decides to lead the gang members to a location where he had previously been attacked by a large number of ethereals. After a hard-fought battle, the gang wipes out all the nearby ethereals. Just as they are about to punish Ollie for tricking them, Nekomata swoops in to save the day. After defeating all the gang members, Phaethon and Nekomata express how impressed they are with Ollie's quick thinking. He mentions that most of the story he told the gang was true. As the oldest kid at an orphanage, he had to raise a ton of siblings that were not blood-related to him. He had chosen Argyle, a PubSec training school with free tuition that's normally seen down on by other members due to family finances. Ollie wanted to become a public security officer so he could hold his head up high and tell his siblings, "We can all become amazing people." Nekomata tells Ollie that she no longer wants her share of his bonus that he'll receive after this, telling him to use the money to buy his siblings gifts instead. Because of this, Phaethon decides to share their cut evenly with Nekomata. 1 week later, Nekomata comes back into the video store with a ton of fish, and mentioned that Ollie told the kids that the gifts were from Nekomata, so the kids went out fishing as a way to say thanks. Anvi walks in to return a videotape and tells Nekomata that she's the very role model of a cunning hare, making Nekomata smile. As the 2 cunning hares depart, the siblings decide to eat fish for dinner that night. With the addition of Fairy to the HDD, the siblings' electric bill has gone up 5 times higher than normal, meaning they are running very low on funds. Wise mentions a commission he found recently that offered a large amount of compensation. However, the person who sent the commission was not easily identifiable and could not be trustworthy. Fairy works her magic and finds out that it was likely sent from someone in Belobog Heavy Industries, the company who has now taken control of the old Metro project post-Vision debacle. She then mentions that one of the members are on a TV show as they speak, so Wise turns on the TV. We get to see Anton partake in a children's game show about Belobog versus Vision, where, unfortunately for Belobog, it appears to be set up to shine a negative light onto Belobog in their past. The host goes off script, mentioning that the previous president of the Belobog Industries, Horace Belobog, Kaleda's father and Grace's former guardian, ran away with a large sum of money on the eve of Hollow Zero's expansion. The show ends and the siblings get another message from the client of the aforementioned commission. They would like to meet up in person. The siblings agree. When they meet up, they learn that it was Anton who posted the commission and that he had learned about us through Nicole. He leads us to Belobog's construction site to learn about the commission from the president. This is where we meet Grace, Ben, and Coleta. They explain that since Belobog has taken over the Metro project, they have become a thorn in the sides of other companies that want to take it over. So, the other companies are going out of their way to hinder Belobog's progress. These hindrances range from stopping low-interest loans to the rigged game show that Anton went on. The Belobog crew reveals that during an update to the logic cores of the smart machines used for in-hollow construction, which were using code from the old president, 3 of them had run off, disobeying Grace's orders. To try and limit the bad look on Belobog, they hired the siblings to help retrieve these machines. Faith then agrees to help and gets sent on missions to retrieve the machines, which include the following: Grappler Hans, a grappling machine that ran away due to being tired of the mundane tasks he was programmed to complete. After helping it avoid getting attacked by ethereals, he decides to come back. The boring machine Mark III, Greta, a boring machine that fell in love with a building that she named Mr. White. In a frenzy, she causes her beloved building to collapse on her. Grace helped her recover emotionally, allowing Greta to return as well. Finally, the most important one, Friday the Pile Driver. Friday received a signal to reinforce the seal from his mentor Horse. Once Horse is mentioned, the vibe of the entire Belobog team shifts. Coleta recounts her past before the fall of the old capital. From her POV, she explains that the prototype we mentioned earlier was originally made for her to use in the future, and that Hors allowed her to name it. Unfortunately, as time went on, Hors was not able to spend as much time with Coleta as she wanted, and he ended up seemingly running away with a bag filled with money. After receiving a frantic phone call and him asking what's in there, he leaves Coleta and Grace behind, saying he would be back in no time. He was never seen again. As we mentioned previously, this is when Horus left to seal the mysterious ethereal inside the monument on the eve of Hollow Zero's expansion. The Belobog crew and Phaethon bring Friday back home and start to look into the signal it received, which Grace quickly finds. The signal was being broadcast from the prototype. However, they couldn't get a good reading on where the signal was coming from, so they brought all 3 of the machines into the Hollow. They positioned them in separate spots throughout the Hollow in order to triangulate exactly where the signal was coming from. Once the signal was located, Belobog and the siblings head over to the location, a monument that Belobog had been tasked with building before the old capital fell. The prototype was underneath the structure and appeared to be holding up one of the spikes on the monument. Coleta brings Eos with her to check out the cockpit, where they find bullet holes covering the inside. Alongside
Fun. I was fun. I was fun.
Minecraft's unimaginable success has undoubtedly inspired countless clones trying to replicate its formula.
Whatever you do at the crossroads, don't turn left. This is the first line in a book that Avery claims he did not write. 2 weeks ago, a YouTube channel called Avery the Mayo uploaded a YouTube video titled Weird Book I Did Not Write, where he shows us a mine that supposedly he never built. Inside the mine is a chest that Avery did not place, and inside the chest is a book that Avery did not write. Inside the book is a very strange message. Whatever you do at the crossroads, don't turn left. Don't be fooled, it's listening. You can't outsmart it, it's listening to me. It's watching me. It isn't from this world. At the crossroads, don't turn left. At the crossroads, don't. Crossroad numbers. And that's it. It seems impossible that a whole mine just appears in your world without your knowledge, but Avery explains in the description of the video that the laptop he's playing on is from a storage locker. It already had Minecraft installed and this world already existed, but when Avery first loaded it up, it was just a normal world. He only now discovered this mine a few hundred blocks from his house. So in that case, what is this book? The contents are strange and it's not evident what they refer to. If anything, they just sound like some crazy rambling, but the numbers at the end are clearly some sort of code, so maybe we can solve it and figure out what this book is talking about. Except we can't. The numbers go higher than 26, so it's not any alphabetical code. There are 4 sections, not 3, so it isn't coordinates. And in fact, there's not a single cipher that comes up as a good match for this code. If it is a code, it's unlike any code I've ever seen, and I wasn't able to decipher it. So is that it? A strange one-off YouTube video and a dead end? Not quite, because for 2 frames at the very end of the video, Avery's inventory flashes a random pattern of blocks, and this time there is a code, because taking the first letter of the name of every block and capitalizing it if there is more than one, you get a string that perfectly matches the length of a Google Drive link that when you enter takes you to a folder. And this is where the true mystery begins. The mystery of a Minecraft world that doesn't exist. Opening the video named Footage 1, we can see a player in the exact same spot Avery was in the last video, except now he has way more items than he had last time. Presumably this is from his house, and he's come to use this mine in survival as part of this world. The book is now gone from the chest, but it could be that Avery just burned it because it creeped him out, or it's just this book in his inventory. Regardless, Avery lines up with the other strip mine and begins to start a new one into the wall, but when he does, he finds this. Nothing weird, it's just a cave, and Avery walks in to begin exploring, until he stops and sees this. It's hard to make out, but as he walks closer we can see what it is. Moss and grass. This is immediately a red flag because this kind of terrain does not generate in caves. Avery checks underneath it, but there's nothing else either. And when he runs back to grab his torches, he notices yet another patch of moss in the corner of the cave. Again, not natural, but not leading anywhere either. It's only when he heads back down the cave does he see it. a tree. Avery approaches the clump of greenery, and there it is. A tree unlike any other oak tree in the entire game. Whatever this is, it isn't normal. Avery backtracks a bit, and we get a better look at this shrub, for lack of a better word. And after some hesitation and circling around it, Avery decides to try mining the tree. And he does, with no problem. It looks just like a normal tree, except normal trees don't generate underground. And it's not the only one. As Avery goes deeper and deeper into the cave, he passes larger and larger patches of greenery, coming across more shrubs and even more trees, and even more moss. He pauses to talk at one point, but instead of commenting on the trees, he brings up something else. It's weird, we've only seen stone. And I guess he's right, the walls of this cave don't have any diorite, granite,